Okay, could you put this away? Thank you. So, assuming all sites are ready, we are starting today's session. Welcome to Zero Carbon Footprint International Mock Trial. We're doing this connecting all the schools together without having to be physically present at one site. And that is a huge contribution to reducing carbon emissions around the world. And today we have three excellent teams from three schools. The schools participating are, let's start from Vietnam, Lawrence S. Ting School, Vietnam. Could you wave? Yay, okay, excellent. And we also have Ling High School from Taiwan. Yay, okay. And then also Affiliate High School of Zhongshu University, Taiwan. Yeah, okay. So these are the participating schools today. And as previously mentioned, the two schools that are going up against each other are Lawrence S. Ting School. Sorry, Lawrence S. Ting School, yeah, Vietnam, Crown versus Ling High School, Taiwan, defense. And then the next session would be Affiliate High School of Zhongshu University, Taiwan, Crown versus Ling High School, Taiwan, defense. And in both sessions, we are doing the Crown versus Peddler case. We have the Chief Justice, Mr. Michael Cunningham, connecting all the way from Texas, USA. Mr. Cunningham.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, our very, very renowned educator who has been doing this for 30 years, I'm thinking, okay, at least over 2 decades. And this has been one of his most outstanding accomplishments, with many students having very good future prospects. And we will go on to that afterwards, but right away we want to start our session. Before we start our session, Mr. Cunningham, do you have any words?
Well, I want to, we have a school from Nottingham, England that's watching this, and I don't know where the other school or other people are from, so you might want to acknowledge them.
Okay, so Nottingham, UK?
Yes. Okay,
we don't see any visual confirmation on the screens, but they are connected for sure.
Yeah, Anthony Evans from Nottingham. Let me see.
Hello, that's actually me.
Oh, that's you?
I'm logged in from my own PC, and he asked me where I come from.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And who's Mr. Chin then?
Okay.
That's their principal.
Great, very good. So let's go ahead and go.
Yeah.
Crown, are you ready?
Ready.
Crown and
Ready.
Defense, are you ready?
Okay. Defense, are you ready?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Crown, let's go ahead with your opening statement.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, members of the court. My name is Jordan Quay, and the other attorney working on this case is Nguyễn Châu Nhi, and it's our pleasure to represent the city of Adelaide, and as well as to serve as the prosecutors on this very important case. On August 13, 2008, the defendant had in her possession and attempted to import into Australia a prohibited substance, namely heroin. The defense may claim that she had no idea that such substances were in her possession. They will paint a picture of a innocent, naive, upstanding citizen that was taken advantage of. They will build a compelling and emotional case, a narrative that will really pull on your heartstrings. The reason they will do this is because they want to distract you from the facts. And the facts are, there is compelling weight of evidence and witness statements made by highly experienced professionals that will prove her guilt. In fact, in possession of baggage containing heroin, a lethal substance, destined for the streets of Australia, where they would have done untold damage and ruined lives. Let me warn you, the defense will play on the defendant's upbringing as a way to prove her good character. But this doesn't change the essential facts. We will prove that it doesn't have any relevance in this matter and is only to humanize the defendant in the eyes of the court. After you have heard all of the evidence, we are confident that you will return a verdict of guilty on all counts of possessing and trafficking narcotics.
Thank you very much. Defense, do you want to have your opening statement now, or would you rather wait?
Thank you, Your Honor. Now.
Okay, go ahead.
Picture this, Your Honor. A 21-year-old young woman, a promising full-time art student studying at the University of Assert, which is ranked the top 100 university in the world, is just about to start in jovial life. And this is my client, Peddler. She is a naive girl with a kind and trusting heart. All she wanted to do was to help a woman in need. Now, as you all heard from the prosecution, that have to prove to you in order to convict Peddler of anything that she possessed the drug, and she did so beyond all reasonable doubt. This means that there cannot be any alternative reasonable explanation for anything that happened. There's only one conclusion, and that you have to find that she possessed the drug. The evidence in this case is going to show that that's just not possible. On August 13 in 2008, my client, Peddler, was found taking a suitcase containing prohibited drugs. I here would like to cite the case Proudman versus Damon in 1941. An honest and reasonable belief in a state of fact, which, if they exist, would make a defendant's act innocent. It has now become more generally recognized, consistently with principle, that provided that there is evidence which raises the question the jury cannot convict unless they are satisfied that the accused did not act under the honest and reasonable mistake. Today, in this case, my client was framed by a smuggler who called herself Allison, sitting next to her on plane. According to an AARP report, 145 individuals have been arrested for smuggling drugs without knowing they were doing so. And notes that arrests have all taken place within the last year and a half. These cases are happening around us, and unfortunately, today, this happened on my client. My client told the officers she was framed at that moment, but you'll later see if this possibility is fully investigated. The defendants will call the accused herself, and we are hoping her to tell you how she was first learned to drink alcoholic beverages by the so-called Allison, and then tricked into this scheme without suspecting. Then we'll call the accused aunt, who spent most of her time living with her, and we hope she'll tell you how innocent and naive Peddler is. At the end of this case, we'll come back and we'll tell you about why this girl should have a better future and what the custom officer and the prosecution in this case should be out looking for the real smuggler. The smuggler they didn't brought to investigate the first round. Your Honor, we'll come back to you when we're all done, as I've said. And we'll talk all this through. We'll come to the only reasonable conclusion possible, that's that Peddler didn't possess the drug. She's not guilty. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's go ahead and go to Crown, call your first witness.
Prosecution calls Theo Probe to the stand.
Okay. You may begin when ready.
Okay, please state your name and occupation.
My name is Theo Probe. Hello. Okay. My name is Theo Probe. I'm a customs officer stationed at Adelaide International Airport.
How long have you worked for the Adelaide International Airport?
I've been working there for 13 years.
So what happened on the day August 13, 2008?
To keep it short, I found a bag suspected to contain illegal drugs inside. And after that, I apprehended a suspect that physically picked up the bag containing heroin. And after that, I contacted the police to formally charge her.
So how can you identify the bag?
Identify the bag?
The suitcase that contained heroin?
Using my narcotic sniffler dog, who is trained to find those things.
How long has your dog accompanied you and how accurate is it?
For this particular dog named Fang, I have been working with for 3 years, and it has accuracy of 70%, which is quite high.
So did you witness the defendant physically picked up the bag containing heroin and trying to enter the country?
Yes, after she left the disembarking gate, she went to the baggage claim area alone, and she picked up 2 bags, one of which is the aforementioned bag containing heroin, and after that, she tried to go to the clearance line.
So what did the defendant say about the heroin?
She denied ownership and knowledge of the heroin.
How did she deny it?
She said that it belonged to Allison, the person seated next to her.
Okay, so in your professional experience, please tell the court, is it common for smugglers to make up stories to try to explain away their actions?
When caught smuggling drugs, it's very common for them to make up stories to embellish the truth so that they can try to avoid getting charges.
What did you do when you discovered that there was heroin in the suitcase?
I firstly checked the baggage claim tag. Afterwards, I positioned my Fang at the disembarking gate where the guests were coming out of the plane. Then as Peddler walked by, the dog identified that this could be the owner of the baggage, but I didn't do anything yet. I waited for her to act on her own first. Afterwards, she walked to the baggage claim area, took 2 bags, including the one that has heroin, and afterwards she joined the clearance line, where I approached her, asked her to give me the bag for me to search, but she said that she did not have anything to declare. But afterwards, I escorted her to the search area where I found the drugs inside the bag and the suspect bag.
Did you call the police?
Of course, about 20 minutes later, the detective Leary arrived at the scene.
Okay, in your professional experience, is it normal to see many people carrying bags on behalf of other people?
I find it very uncommon because it's not common sense for people to not carry bags on behalf of other people, because the baggages that you have on yourself is under your legal responsibility. The contents within is what you have to be responsible for when coming through customs.
Okay, thank you. We have no further questions.
Thank you very much. You may begin cross-examination, defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. First, I would like to ask, Did you declare my client's right before investigate her bag?
Can you rephrase the question, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
Did you declare my client's right before investigate her bag?
Of course, I asked her to give me her baggage for me to search. Even for the locked suspect bag that contained the heroin, I asked her to open it before I use force.
Officer Probe, is it your testimony that you knew there was heroin in there already?
Can you repeat?
Yeah. Is it your testimony that you already knew there was heroin in the bag before you opened it?
Yes, I knew there were illegal substances. I wasn't, at the point I didn't know it was heroin, but I did know that there were illegal substances in the bag.
I believe the defense counsel is asking you in the beginning, did you read her the rights if you already knew that she had heroin in the bag?
Yes.
Was that not your question, Counselor?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
How did you know the powder was heroin?
I tasted it.
You taste it?
Yes.
So, were you high when you taste it?
It was only a small amount. I believe that through my training, it's one of the many ways that you can identify illegal substances. But I only took very minimal doses.
Okay. Did you check the name tag, right? You check
Right.
the name tag. Okay.
Correct.
Whose bag is it?
It was checked by a woman named Duped.
And did you investigate the clues related to the name tag? The name.
No, I didn't need to.
Did my client, Peddler, came out of custom with anyone?
Ever since she left the disembarking gate, she was walking along to the baggage claim area and to the clearance line.
Okay. No further question. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. If there are no further direct questions, you may call your second witness.
The prosecution calls Meekum Leary to the stand.
Okay. You may begin.
Okay, please state your name and occupation.
My name is Meekum Leary. I am an active member of the Australian Federal Police Force for 20 years. I'm currently a detective in the drug squad. I've held this position for 13 years.
Why are you at the Adelaide International Airport on the day August 13, 2008?
On August 13, 2008, I received a call from a customs official requesting my presence in Adelaide International Airport.
Please tell us what happened on that day.
Upon my arrival at the airport, I saw the defendant with the customs official. Then the customs official handed me 5 small foil packages that were later identified to be heroin.
Okay, so what did the defendant say about the suitcases?
The defendant denied ownership of the bag and denied knowledge of the contents within it.
So did defendant mention any other person owned the suitcase?
Can you repeat your question?
Did the defendant say anything about the owner of the suitcases?
Yes, they told the owner of the bag is Allison, a person whom does not exist.
So what did the defendant know any personal information about Allison?
No, they knew nothing besides the name.
So why do you know that the suitcase actually belongs to the defendant?
The customs officials, narcotic sniffer dog Fang, identified the owner of the bag as is the defendant, and the customs official also saw the defendant physically pick up the bag.
Okay, is there anything suspicious about the defendant's behavior?
Yes, there are numerous suspicious behavior. First, during my interview with them in the airport, the defendant exhibited numerous very suspicious behavior, such as when they were speaking, their tone was unclear, their foot was started tapping, and besides that, they also started crying in order to engender our sympathy and distracting us from the fact that they were indeed the suspect.
Okay, so how did you know that the unknown substance is actually prohibited drugs?
After the customs official tasting it, I sent the 5 small packages to the police laboratory for further testing. They were later confirmed to be heroin.
Okay, did Allison come to the defendant house to take her suitcases back?
No, I had the defendant's house under complete surveillance for 1 week. There was no trace of anyone in that area.
Okay, please tell the court based on which law do you charge the defendant?
I charged the defendant for illegally importing a prohibited narcotic substance in their possession, namely heroin, into Australia, contrary to Section 9 of Illegal Importation of Narcotics Act, 1992.
Okay, thank you. Prosecution has no further questions.
Thank you very much. Defense, do you want to cross-examine, please, at this time?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Hello, nice to meet you. Okay, so how long have you been a detective?
I've been a detective in the drug squad for 13 years.
13 years, okay, so may I ask how many cases do you have when you got Peddler's case?
Over the years, there have been numerous cases similar to this one, where the
No,
suspect
I mean like
lied.
at that time when you got my client case, how much case do you have in your hand?
Our department has a very heavy caseload, and
Very
I
heavy.
do not remember counting it.
So you'll describe it as very much.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. And are you busy from when you got Peddler's case until today?
Could you repeat your question? I cannot hear it clearly.
Are you busy from the time you get Peddler case to today? Like to today? Are you busy? In this time.
Objection. The question was irrelevant.
Well, actually, I think explain what you're trying to say there, defense. I think it could be relevant. Explain why you think that's relevant.
Because it is about whether my client case is fully investigated or not.
Okay, now I will sustain that argument. Go ahead and answer the question, please. I think the question is, are you still busy? Are you still working hard on different cases?
I'm as busy as any normal day that I have to work. There is no difference at all.
Okay. And in your career, is it normal for people to taste drugs to identify them instead of using equipment?
Yes, I believe that is a standard procedure for quickly determining whether the substance is indeed prohibited.
So instead using some equipment like paper or some chemical solution, you persist to taste it?
In cases like this, it is sometimes hard to get paper or anything else. We have to quickly determine.
Are you telling me
if the
that
suspect is
custom
banned.
officers cannot bring any pieces of paper to identify drugs anytime?
Objection. Leading questions.
All his questions will be leading questions because that's what the defense will do. Overruled. Go ahead. Ask the question again.
Sure. So in the case that the custom already know the bag contains heroin, he did not bring a paper to there and instead he tasted. Is it normal?
Yes.
So you're told, okay, that's great. And what's your name? sir?
I'm Kim Leary.
Is that your real name?
Yes.
Yes. Did you
That
ever
was the name my
suspect
mother
that?
gave me.
Okay. Did you ever suspect that criminals may not use their real names? Do you know
Yes,
that
I'm
criminals?
quite aware of that fact.
Okay. So, are you aware of the fact that Allison might be a fake name?
Yes, of course.
So, after you only run a name check to track Allison's name, right?
Yes.
Are you able to find the weird package owner, Miss Duplicitous? Can you find her?
No, we cannot find any evidence leading to the owner of the bag.
Well, that's sad. Do you have the passenger's picture checked with my client? Do you show her the passenger's picture to my
No, we
client?
felt like we had enough and sufficient evidence to charge the
Okay.
suspect.
Did you
And we did not
identify
feel.
sorry. Did you identify the surveillance footage to my client to let her to point out Allison? Do you show her the surveillance footage?
Could you repeat your question again?
Did you show her the surveillance footage to point out Allison?
No, we did not.
And did you stay outside my client's house for more than 1 week?
Yes.
More than 1 week, like more than 1 week. You only stayed there for, how long did you stay outside of my client's house?
For 1 week.
Only 1 week.
Yes.
Okay. And is it possible that some criminals will flee after Allison saw you caught my client, Peter? Is it possible that someone else has seen that you get my client into a small cubicle?
Could you shorten your question?
Sorry. Can anyone else see that my client was caught?
I think you said, can anyone else see if your client was caught?
Yes.
Yes, there is a possibility Allison stayed behind and
So
watched.
it is also possible that Allison sees it, right?
Yes.
Yes, so you are telling me that you still stay outside of my client's house after Allison might see my client was caught.
Yes, there is a chance, however, that is very minimal.
Okay, and you also tell me that you didn't check with the surveillance footage, you didn't identify the picture with my client, you didn't call Allison, you didn't find Mr. Bliss's. So all you have to do is to charge my client, is that right?
The customs official saw the defendant physically pick up the bag, and that is one of the most important facts that I want to emphasize today.
Let me remind you, I here would like to cite Reckless Poison in 1982. Possession is a deceptively simple concept. It denotes a physical control or custody. You may possess a thing without knowing or comprehend it, but you do not possess that thing unless you know you have it. Do you realize that? Do you realize
According
that
to Section 39 of Illegal Importation of Narcotics Act, even owning or having that in your possession is already a violation of that act.
But it also stated that if today the defendant can prove that there is a reasonable cause for our client to have a state of mind that causes it to be innocent, our client will be free, right?
Yes.
Our client would not be guilty if she had a state of mind that she did not possess that drug or did not have a content to cause that criminal crime. Do you agree that?
I think, could you repeat the question again? Because I think the witnesses may be confused.
Do you agree that if today my client is in a state of mind that she acted innocent, she should not be guilty, although she possessed the drug?
No, I believe that the suspect is indeed guilty, as we have sufficient proof of that.
Oh, okay, then this is a he say, her say situation.
Officer, excuse me, Officer Leary, under Broadman, do you not have to also prove that her state of mind is present as well? I think that's what he's trying to get to.
Yes.
Could you explain what you mean by a state of mind?
State of mind means if I having the tendency to create the crime, to do the crime. Like if I really do want to, or I don't have willfully, knowingly.
I believe that no matter what the state of mind of the defendant is, they accepted that they are responsible for the contents of that bag when they picked it up, because it would prove a very bad example for future cases like this.
Well, sadly, I have to tell you that's not how law works. Law are here to protect people that act innocent. Law are here for people law are here to protect people that are willing to help others. So if you're trying to frame all the people who accidentally hit someone or accidentally kill someone, then you're not in the right place. Maybe you should go to another world, but let's not for here. That's the end of my question. Thank you, Your Honor.
May I ask you a question?
Prosecution, do you have another witness?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you want to rest at this point then?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Defense, you may call your first witness.
Defendants calls our first witness, Peddler. Please describe your name and occupation.
My name is Peddler, and I live at 13 Charlotte Lane, Adelaide. I'm a full-time student in the University of Adelaide.
Counselor, excuse me, we can't hear you very well.
Sorry for that.
Okay.
My name is Peddler, and I live at 13 Charlotte Lane, Adelaide. I'm a full-time student at the University of Adelaide studying art. I'm currently taking an honors degree in anthropology.
Please tell us, when did you leave San Francisco and why?
I left for Australia on August 13. I was awarded a bursary to travel to San Francisco for 1 month, so I had to came back to Australia.
And what did you do in the United States?
I observed the social customs of aged Americans in rest homes and to apply several theories to my findings.
Can you tell us what happened on August 13 in the airport?
I was stopped by a customs officer to check my belongings, and she found some drugs in the bag that I was asked to bring by Allison.
Where did you meet Allison?
She sat next to me on the plane.
Can you describe Allison's appearance?
She has blonde hair, blue eyes, and about the same height and age as me.
Did you see the customs officer test the white powder with his finger?
Yes, I remember clearly that he stuck his index finger in the white powder.
How did Allison ask you to bring the luggage?
She cried and told me that she had brought too many luggage and the customs would never let her go through with it. So she said she normally would wait, but she had to rush to the deathbed of her mother in Adelaide rest home as soon as possible. She asked my address and told me that she would come to my house to pick it up a few days later.
Can you tell us more details about your interaction with Allison?
We were talking about San Francisco when the drinks trolley arrived. Allison promptly ordered us 2 Kahula milk.
Do you think you have high alcohol tolerance?
No, I don't.
How well can you hold the liquor?
I don't usually drink hard liquor, but that one tastes rather nice, just like iced coffee. And I like iced coffee, so I ordered another one before the plane landed.
How did you know which bag to pick up?
When we proceeded to the baggage claiming area, I saw Allison pick up several suitcases, and then she motioned me toward one, so I picked up my own bag and the bag she motioned to.
Were you still conscious when you picked up the bag?
I think I was a little drunk.
Then can you describe the bag?
I was drunk, so I'm not quite sure, but I think it's a medium-sized travel bag in bright pink.
Did you check what was inside the bag?
No, the bag was locked up, so I never had a chance to open it. I didn't have any idea of what's inside until the customs officer opened it.
Did Allison come out of the custom with you?
Yes, she did.
When did she leave you?
She picked up her own bag and left. When I finished picking up my own belongings, she's long gone already. I thought that was normal since she needed to rush to the resting home.
Did she tell you anything before she left?
No.
And did the detective believe your story, even he doesn't know there's drug inside the bag?
No, he didn't believe me for a second. I was really frustrated.
Okay, no further question. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Let's go ahead and cross-examination, please. Crown.
Please state your name, age, and occupation.
My name is Peddler, and I'm 21. I'm a full-time student in the University of Adelaide.
Can you explain to the court what happened on the day of question?
Excuse me, sorry.
Can you explain to the court what happened on the day of question?
Yes, I was stopped by a custom officer to check my belongings and later found that I possessed prohibited drugs.
Who did you say that the bag belonged to?
Allison.
And how did Allison ask you to carry her bags for her?
She cried and told me that she had to rush to the resting home that she mother stayed in. So she asked me to pick up the one suitcase for her.
Why was Allison's mother being unwell suddenly mean that she needed help with this one specific bag?
I don't know. We didn't talk about that.
Can't you see that those events are not connected whatsoever?
Sorry, one more time.
Can't you see that those events are not connected whatsoever?
They are. Can you explain the question?
How would Allison need help with one bag instead of one bag during?
Oh, I know what you mean. She had a lot of bags, so I didn't know at first which bag to pick. And then she motioned me toward one.
Wouldn't she, if she had a lot of bags, wouldn't she need help with more than one bag?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It's her. It depends to her.
Do you have any evidence to prove Allison's existence? For example, contact information, a last name, or a last name.
No, she didn't tell me. Oh, but I believe I appeared on the surveillance camera with her because I walked with her.
Why did you agree? I'm sorry. At the time, did you think that Allison's reason was plausible?
Sorry, one more time.
At the time, did you think it was plausible? Did you think that her story could be true?
Yeah, definitely.
Being a student, you have a busy. What time did you arrange with Allison to come pick up her bag?
I don't know. She said she would come a few days later. She didn't tell me the exact time.
But wouldn't you have to give her a specific time?
No.
Around.
Okay.
Being a student, wouldn't you have a busy schedule?
Not really. I just came back from San Francisco, so it's okay.
But in general, would you have to go to classes?
Not yet.
But in general.
In general? but I was free the next few weeks.
Do you know anything about drugs?
No.
Do you know anything about drug trafficking?
About drug what?
Trafficking.
Do you know anything about drug trafficking?
No.
Do you know that there are laws about what you can and cannot bring into a country?
Oh, yes, I do.
Referring to the first two questions, your first two answers, are you trying to tell the court that a highly educated person who was awarded a scholarship to go to university wouldn't know common sense and wouldn't know common things about drugs and drug trafficking?
Yes, I don't know anything about that.
So what you are saying is you aren't aware of basic common knowledge.
Yes.
So when did you not agree to helping Allison with her bags?
Did I agree? Sorry, can you repeat that again?
Did you agree? Is it correct that you agreed to help Allison with her bags?
Yes.
Did you know by agreeing you would have had to take responsibility for the bag?
No, I was just helping her. I was just doing her a favor.
By doing her a favor, did you think of how you would bring the bag through customs?
How would I bring the bag through customs?
Yes.
I just carry it.
Wouldn't going through customs in a different country would require you to have any paperwork of any kind to bring the bag through customs?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Then why did you? Then wouldn't have then? How could you not know that you had to do such things?
Because I was only going to America and then come back.
Miss Peddler, were you not coming back to your home country?
I am.
Okay, and at the time, did Allison give you a baggage claim ticket?
No.
Then how would you have brought it through customs?
I went through the custom first, and then I pick up the bag.
Isn't customs after claiming baggage? Because isn't the purpose of customs to check bags for illegal substances?
One more time.
Isn't
customs?
Customs is usually after baggage claim, correct?
I went through the custom first, and then I was asked to check the baggage.
Customs is for checking baggage, not just checking your person.
Oh, really? Huh?
Are you aware that you must be responsible for what you carry on board and off an aircraft, and that there are severe consequences when you carry suitcases on behalf of someone else without knowing what is in there?
No.
As you said before, you consume a lot of alcohol, correct?
Only 2 cups.
But what drink did you have?
A whole lot of milk.
Would you say that you were either drunk or at least a little bit tipsy?
I'm a little drunk.
Do you think that you are reliable when you are under the influence of alcohol?
No, at that time. But I'm clear now.
Wouldn't being under an influence of alcohol affect your memory as well as how you would recall certain details.
Objection, opinion. She is not a witness. She is not an expert. Sorry.
But wouldn't someone being over the age
I'll sustain the question. Go ahead and ask the question again, please. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
do you wouldn't being under the influence of alcohol affect your partial memory or your testimony as well as how you remember certain details?
Yes, that's possible.
And is it possible that because you were under the influence of alcohol that you did not remember the last name of Allison?
I'm quite sure that she didn't tell me.
But weren't you under the influence of alcohol? She could have told you, and yet you didn't.
Yes,
you could have not remembered.
Yes, that's possible.
Can you guarantee your testimony is correct?
Yes.
Are you trying to tell the court that? Are you aware that people can lie?
Yes.
Are you aware that people can make up stories?
Yes.
So why weren't you aware at the time when Allison was asking you to carry her bags?
Because I trust her.
How could you trust a person that you just met?
I just do.
Prosecution has no further questions.
Thank you.
Ms. Peddler, I have a couple questions. When you started drinking the Kahlua on the airplane, was Allison drinking too?
Yes.
And whose idea was it to get a drink? Was it yours or was it Allison's?
She ordered two, one for me, one for her.
Okay, so is it your testimony today that she might try to get you drunk in order to ask you a question?
Yes, definitely true.
Okay, and also one more question. Your inability to understand about going to customs or going to pick up your bags first, could that be because you were tipsy?
Yes, that's possible.
Thank you very much. May I call your second witness, please?
I would like to call Desiree to the stand. Please state your name and your occupation for the court.
My name is Desiree Rachel. I live at 20 Hardy Street, Goodwood, Adelaide. I'm a matron at the Withered Oak Nursing Home for the Old and Weary, North Adelaide.
How is your relationship with Peter Peddler?
Before I took up the position of matron, I was a nurse for 13 years with the defendant's mother, Priscilla Peddler. Also, I was present at Peter's birth, watching her grow into the fine, strapping young woman today.
Wow, you must be really close. So how close are you with Peter?
I've been a close friend to the Peddler family for nearly 13 years. Unfortunately, her mother and father left her about 7 years ago, and Peter really needed a more stable home environment. So she came to me and we became very close. Since then, we lived together until Peter entered the college. She trusts me implicitly and I treat her like my own child.
So Peter lost her family. How sad. How would you describe Peter?
She is a very hard-working girl. She's kind, intelligent, and truthful. Because of her special family background, she's very eager to please, willing to be trusted and love and gain acceptance.
Would you describe her as a naive woman?
Yes, definitely. She is absolutely a friendly and kind-hearted sweetie. I have always tried hard to shield her from the cruel and cold elements of life.
Wow, you're trying to shield her from the cruel world. How kind-hearted is she anyway?
Okay, when she heard or see someone needs help, Peter's always be the one who come up first, like helping the elderly or blind cross the street, or donate pocket money to all the beggars she met on street, and she has the patience on volunteering.
Wow, so she must be willing to trust all people that need help in life, right?
Yes.
Since you are so close with Peter, do you think it is possible that Peter don't know this Allison is trying to hurt her?
Definitely sure. Peter is not a very worldly girl. She absolutely don't know what was going on.
So you will say because she is innocent and she lost her family, she maybe is really naive and are still willing to help the world, right?
Yes.
In your memory, can you describe Peddler's parents?
Okay, her mother is a person who abandoned her first. And one of the reasons that she wanted to leave the family is her husband is a chronic drinker.
Peter's father is a drinker. How was Peter's reaction to alcohol after seeing her father drinking?
Constructed by her father, she always viewed wine as the worst things in life. And if it's not a necessary circumstance, she always refused to drink it. So there must be someone asked or invited Peter to drink while on the airplane.
What happened after her parents abandoned her?
After her parents abandoned her, I tried my best to protect her from being hurt again. As a consequence, Peter is still filled with innocence. She doesn't know how ungodly the society is. Maybe others think it's not good, but I prefer that she can remain her naivety.
After this incident, had Peddler ever talked to you?
Yeah, Peter had told me several times after she being charged. She is truly desperate and distraught. I think she was being entrapped. I believe she will never do this kind of thing.
Do you know who this Allison?
No, I have never heard of her until Peter told me.
What will Peter react after she encountered this incident?
If judges convict Peter of innocence, I'm pretty sure when this horrid affair behind her, Peter will still go to do the great thing for anthropology, her community, and the world.
What a nice girl. There is no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. You may get cross-examined, please. Crown?
Can you tell us about the defendant's childhood?
Okay. About at 14 years old, and Peter was being abandoned by her family. But at that time, she really needed a stable home environment, so she just came to me, and we became very close.
Can you tell me about her father?
Okay. Her father is just a businessman and married with her mother.
Can you tell me why he left? Oh, why he was deemed unsuitable for her that he was deemed unsuitable, and why Peter went to live with you?
Can you rephrase your questions again?
She wanted to know why he was unsuitable and why Peter came to live with you.
Okay, because his father is a chronic drinker. So her mother, Peter's mother, can adjust to it. So they just.
Sorry. Would you say you stated that her father had an alcohol problem, correct?
Yes.
Would you say the defendant has familiarity with substance and the abuse of substances such as alcohol?
Like Peter is dislike the alcohol?
No. Would you say that the defendant has familiarity with substances and the abuse of substances?
Do you think that she has knowledge of this because of her background?
No, she's not very familiar with the alcohol or drug.
But wasn't her father didn't her father have problems with alcohol?
Yes, she knows that her father
So
is
how
a
could
drinker, but
so how could she not be familiar with it?
She don't need to know what her father is drinking about.
But wasn't she the one to ask you to come live with her? For her to come live with you?
It's because there's no parents to like helping her, and she's too young. She's just 14 years old at that time.
But she grew up in an unstable home. Her earliest memories would have been with her father, who had addiction to alcohol. And wouldn't that be her how she has familiarity with substances?
Like she is at
Yes or no? It's a
14
yes or no
years
question.
old. Can you
It's a
repeat?
Isn't it because of her father and his problems with alcohol that she would have familiarity with the abuse of substances such as alcohol and other addictive substances? It's a yes or no question.
No.
And
but she don't need to get familiar with it, but she can remember that.
She know about his problem.
Yes, she knows her father is a chronic drinker.
Then that would have meant that she was familiar with the problem. Correct. Would you say, earlier you stated that you sheltered her, correct?
Yes.
But even if you sheltered her, wouldn't she have known about what happened in her own family and would have known?
She knows that her parents got divorced. It's because of her father, so she hates the wine. She hates the alcohol.
What age did Peter move out and go to college?
At 18 years old.
And isn't she 21, correct?
Yes.
So that would have been 33 years since you last lived with her, correct?
Yes.
Has she changed much since you last lived with her?
No, because we keep in contact with other. Like we have contrast and we
even
just
if you kept in
message
contact,
each other.
Even if you kept in contact, you wouldn't be able to know every aspect of her daily life, correct?
Yes, but because she is already the college student and she's 21 years old, so I don't need to know everything of a child.
It's been 3 years. How could you not know she didn't change at all?
She still come back to visit me on the holiday or on weekends. So she treat me just like she used to be. She's kind and just treat others well.
You stated that she has never taken drugs before in her life, correct?
Yes. But if someone asks her or invited her, but she won't drink it her own self.
But in the 3 years that she hasn't lived with you, how could you know that she didn't take any drugs? And even if she did, because it's illegal, she wouldn't have told you, correct?
She didn't told me everything happened during her college time.
So it could be possible that she did take drugs, but she did not tell you, correct?
Yes, but I believe that
Thank
she
you.
still
Thank you.
do the wine
Is
as a
there
work.
anything, yes or no question, sorry. Is there anything unique about the defendant that would make you believe that she wouldn't understand that you shouldn't bring someone else's baggage into another country?
Can you rephrase it again?
Is there anything unique about the defendant that would make you believe that she didn't understand that you shouldn't bring someone else's baggage into another country?
Because Prita is very eager to be trusted, so she wants to make friends with the girl who names Allison. So she wants to help her. Although she doesn't know what's the trouble is going on, but she still wants to help others because she's very innocent and a naive girl.
Would you think? Do you think that she's so willing to get trust that she would do something illegal to gain someone else's trust?
Because she don't know what is the trouble going on, so she just trusts the girl.
Peter is a college student, correct?
Yes.
And she's going to school on a scholarship, correct?
Yes.
Are you trying to tell the court that the defendant, a highly educated person who was awarded a scholarship to go to university, wouldn't know no common sense not to take someone else's bag into another country?
Although she is the college student, but she don't know what is the Allison's going to give her this kind of things.
The question was, why wouldn't she know the common sense to not do something like that?
Because she trusts everyone is just based on her background, because she's got abandoned by her family, so she wants to be trusted by others. So she's just willing to be kind to and trust others.
How long have you known Peter?
I've known her when she was born, but I get close to her since 7 years ago.
I'm sorry. So in the years that you've known her, and as in the years you have been her guardian, do you have a special bond with the defendant?
Special bond?
A special bond, a special relationship.
Oh, I just treat her like my daughter, and
So wouldn't be treating her like your daughter technically be a special relationship? Or a close relationship?
No.
So you're saying you're not close to the person that you see as your daughter? Isn't that a little bit odd?
Ms. Ratchet, do you understand the question? I believe that you are saying that, could you repeat that first question?
The first question is, as her guardian, do you think that you have a special bond with the defendant?
Okay, Ms. Ratchet, do you understand what she means there?
No, I can't.
Okay, do you have a special relationship? You care about Miss Peddler, correct? You care for her like a mother, correct?
Yes.
And that would be a special relationship other than just a regular person, correct?
Yes.
That's what she's asking you.
Oh.
And with that special bond, are you willing to protect her?
Because
no matter
I
what?
view her as my daughter.
In yes or no question.
Now, she's asking you, because of this bond, do you think that you would lie here today at the court and not tell the truth?
No. although she's my daughter, but I will, if she makes some mistake, I will still punish her just like the parent.
As her,
Well,
as seeing her as your daughter, would you say that you would favor her in any way?
Like I still have to stand in a neutral way
I know,
to
favor, not
to face this incident.
We're not talking about whether she's guilty or not. We're talking about would you favor her or would you protect her in any way? Like not protect, but like favor. Choose her over.
Because I trust her that she was innocent now in this.
Crown, we only need time for one more question, please.
Would you say you would have any bias towards the situation? Any, not even a little bit?
No.
So you're saying like you
This
with,
would be
with your
last
connection,
question, Crown.
with your special relationship, you would not have any bias toward whatsoever?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions. You may have a seat. Crown, you can begin your closing statement.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the court, Your Honor, we consider this to be a very important case, and it's our pleasure to make this closing statement. It's quite clear that the defense has failed to prove that the defendant is innocent. In fact, they told us some tall tales about how she was duped by a mysterious passenger who befriended her and asked her to do the one thing you should never do when you fly, which is to carry someone else's luggage. This story is often and is commonly used in the situation that the defendant has said. So it is common knowledge to not help others people or taking others' luggage on behalf of others. So if you are taking the luggage, you are taking the responsibility to have the luggage with you. And the prosecution would like to assert that this is nothing more than willful ignorance. And ignorance is no excuse in the eye of the law. We would like to elaborate on the reasons why we're confident of the defendant's guilt. Firstly, the substance which was in this case that the defendant carried is prohibited drug, namely heroin. Next, the defendant imported the heroin into Australia illegally. They were caught in the act. The defendant took ownership of the substance because the narcotic sniffer dog accurately identified the substance and its owner and shown no interest in any passenger before that. The defendant intended to have heroin in her possession. According to Section 29 of the Illegal Importations of Narcotic Acts to 1992, Part A, the defendant has no reasonable excuse to have in their possession prohibited drugs and should be penalized. We should not believe the defendant's claim about how innocent she is, since her testimony is incompatible with the evidence that we found. If the defendant is free from this trial today without any penalty for what she did, it will set a bad precedent for others out there to imitate this crime. Today's verdict will set a future precedent. It will officially declare to the world how we treat drugs, traffickers, and that attempt to smuggle deadly and addictive drugs into our country. We need to uphold the precedent that this is unacceptable, and for this reason, we implore you to return a verdict of guilty to protect our nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Taiwan, defense, you may begin your closing statement.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before I begin, I would like to remind the prosecution that a proof without reasonable doubt isn't about a frivolous doubt or an imaginary doubt. Yes, Peter might take drugs in the 3 years that she had led on Desiree, and I might have become the US president in the next year. You can't talk about imaginary things right there. Okay, Your Honor, I'm really happy to make the closing statement today. We are all human and we all make mistakes, but it often arises from a good intention. Well, what's a reasonable excuse in this case? I'm here to tell you, it is trust. And that's what makes humanity eclectic. A proof of an innocent mind was clearly given in today's defendant's statement. Peter's aunt, Desiree, explicitly showed her immense connection with Peter and stated Peter was such a kind girl. Let me remind the jury there that perjury is a crime up to 5 years. I'm sure that aunt here, with the cleverness to shelter a child from a collapsed family, is smart enough to know that if she lied on the court, she will be accused by some DA out there, and she is smart enough to don't lie in the court. With this premise, the defendant has successfully told the full story that the prosecution cannot deny. My client, who had a naive nature, which was stated by Aunt Desiree, was lured to drink alcoholic beverages, which she shouldn't do, and without a doubt decided to help this Allison. My client was under the influence of alcohol and was protected by her aunt ever since her parents abandoned her. This is the reason why she was so naive. And this same story was told by Peter on the day she was caught. It is so easy for the police detective to disprove it if this story is fake, but they didn't. The case can be closed after Peter pointed out Allison in the surveillance footage and the police bring Allison back for deposition. Instead, he didn't show Peter the picture of passengers. He didn't find Miss Duplicitous. He didn't ask Peter to identify Allison on the footages. He didn't stay outside of her house for more than a week. Not to mention, he was under heavy workload and he didn't pay much attention on the case. Also, he is a police officer who didn't know that an innocent mindset can make a woman innocent. So I'm questioning if this police officer here is really an expert and do know about law and do know what he is accusing for. On the other hand, there is a custom officer who already know there are prohibited drugs in the suitcase, but instead of bringing a paper or chemical solution to there, he insisted to take a chemical to taste the powder by his finger. I'm wondering, is he really doing a job or is he just enjoying the powder that victims bring to here? So, according to Section 99 of the Drug Imported Narcotic Acts, a person commits an offense if he or she did it without reasonable excuse. And in today's case, which the police officer didn't know about that, we have already did prove that my client should be innocent. And today we have established a theory that my client might be framed. We should look for more decisive evidence before we charge our client, or just acquit. Or else we are here setting a precedent that we can convict people without thorough investigation, without a police officer that really know about law, without a custom officer that know to bring paper or solution to the crime where it take place. How can this girl, a girl with a broken family, if she was convicted today, trust anyone again? Your Honor, we believe the evidence presented today is enough for our side to show that our theory worked. There is a high chance for this woman to be innocent. That's the case for the defendant. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Okay, I have some comments if you're ready. Mimi, are you wanting to go to the next one or you want the comments now?
So perhaps we should wait until the very end because perhaps it would be, I'm afraid that it will affect the fairness. I don't know, maybe.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
that's why I asked.
So excellent job from Taiwan and Vietnam. I mean, both schools did, extremely well. I was just thinking, just a few seconds ago that we should all actually get together. Like one day physically, because these students are so extremely brilliant, like Mr. Cunningham, you know, you've seen this for like, I don't know, 10, 20 years. You can comment on their performance. I mean, not about the case. I mean, we'll do that at the end, but about their performance and how well they reacted to spontaneous and impromptu questions.
I thought the second witness, oh my gosh, the second witness for Vietnam was absolutely excellent. One of the best witnesses I've ever seen. So I thought that was very good. Mm-hmm. And I was getting a kick out of the second attorney from Taiwan is very, very good. It reminds me of somebody that Mimi and I both know.
Okay. So excellent job. And also, I think all witnesses and all attorneys did very well because this is a high pressure competition, especially for high school students. And all the schools here, the students are studying English as a foreign language. So really, really extremely.
Mimi, I think you guys are lying about that. Some of you guys speak English better than I do.
Okay, so we will take a few moments. I also have other schools, students filing in to observe. They are coming from 5 different schools and also German students coming from Zhongshan University. They are especially here to observe mock trial competitions. They are extremely impressed at the level of performance that students, are giving at the high school level. So they are going to be here in, I think, about 15 to 20 minutes. So we will wait for them and we'll start as scheduled at, this is going to be tough. I'm going to say this in GMT. What time is it in GMT right now? Anybody? Okay, so nobody can figure that out in 5 seconds. So I am going to say, we will resume the second part in 20 minutes.
Okay, Mimi, I have 17 after, so let's resume at 30 after.
Yeah, but they haven't arrived.
Okay, we'll resume at 40 then.
Yeah, okay. So the students arriving from other schools, they are coming to observe and some will help to act as commentators, I hope, because they have the grad students from Germany.
We'll see you in a little bit.
Okay, let's take 20, everybody. Stay connected but muted, okay? Do not disconnect. Thank you.
And really, thank you on the Lawrence Ting School side. Thank you really much. Yeah, it's a really nice competition. Thank you.
Okay, so I just realized that Wuling High School, will you be joining us for the next session? Because you would need to, or I could send you the video if you're not able to stay afterwards, because I was afraid that the comments or the judging at this point would affect the fairness of the next 2 teams.
And some of us will be here, so yeah, we'll see you then.
Okay, thank you. That's great. We would love to meet you guys in person one day. Well,
no problem.
Not that far away.